Martin Allen off and Tam McManus are here with me, sponsored by Cameron Commercials. If you are looking for a quality new or used van, then don't forget Sean's your man. Go to CameronCommercials.com and he'll help you out with whatever you need for your business. We've got lots to talk about and we're feeling good about ourselves. Scotland get their first win at the World Cup against Haiti in the opening group match. The Tartan Army are the stars of the show. They gained so many new friends in Boston. The Americans are raving about their performance on and off the pitch as well. Danny Röhl ready to depart Rangers for RB Salzburg. Derek McInnes heading home to Ibrox and facing a rebuild as the new manager of Rangers. That's on the horizon. Who's the ideal candidate to take over Hearts when they eventually confirm the departure of their current boss? And Celtic are linked with a move for Kieran Bowie. That's just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about. And of course, with Haiti now firmly on the back burner, who we want to know, how many goals has John McGinn scored for Scotland in his career? He's doing well, Ruffy, and you've got the Super John McGinn glasses on.
I'm just waiting he's breaking it in a song. There's not many words in it, so it should be easy to sing.
You can take those glasses off now, you look ridiculous. But anyway, apart from anything else, thanks to the boys at Street Soccer who sent us these just this morning. Anyway, John McGinn got the goal in the game against Haiti, and I think everybody was celebrating. Of course, we should have been looking forward to the win. After all, they're 83rd in the world, and we have now moved up, Ruffy, I think to 38th, up 4 places in the FIFA rankings because of that win. So if you think you know how many goals has John McGinn scored, then get on and we'll give you the answer at the end of the programme. But listen, what did you make of it?
The win, I mean, that seems to be the way it's been put out there. The win's the most important. It is the most important. We've been saying win your first game gives you a chance. I don't think we want to dwell too much on the performance, but we won the game, you get 3 points, and you look forward to the next games. But I'm sure we'll analyse the game as we go on in the show.
Yeah, we might as well analyse it, Ruffy, since it's just gone. I know you haven't been doing a lot of analysis over the weekend because every event you turned up at, they were all rat-arse not listening to you.
Yeah, they certainly were. They certainly enjoying themselves. You know, I mean, I think a 2 o'clock kick-off isn't going to work. Isn't it going to work in Scottish football?
Did you take a discounted fee then?
Did you take a
discounted fee? Did you take % off?
No, I was there. I did my bit. I was there at 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning?
No, tell a lie. I left at half time.
Brilliant. Listen, I watched the game. It was magnificent. I don't know about you, but the flower of Scotland was sensational, Tam, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Listen, the build up to it's been since that Kenny McLean goal. Everybody's been looking forward to the World Cup. I think the pressure was really on us in this game. I think the pressure is probably off us a little bit now. Everyone expected us to win this game. We had to win this game. You know, you've got 2 of the top 10 in the world coming up back to back. So it was a poor performance, let's be honest about it. But the most important thing was we won the game. We're top of the group. And we've got an opportunity in the next 2 games to pick up the point we need to get through. I think if you'd offered us 4 points at the start, you'd have bitten your hand off. So we've got an opportunity to do that. The performance will need to be better across the board. I think there was maybe only 3 or 4 on the night who really turned up and played to their potential.
And they were?
I think the 2 centre-halves were good, Peter. I think that Lewis Ferguson in the middle of the park was good, Gannon Doak. Bar that, I'm scratching my head to see where the good performances were. I thought Shankland was poor, I thought McGinn was poor, McTominay, full-backs weren't great, and Shea Adams was okay, but it wasn't a great performance. But the most important thing for everyone was the 3 points. And I don't think we were troubled. Bar the header in the second half, it was a good opportunity for Haiti. It was a great ball and he probably should have scored. Bar that, I don't think they caused us too many problems.
Ruffy, the touch from Shea Adams, though, out of the air to bring it down and actually get that whole move towards the Haiti goal was absolutely top drawer.
Yeah, it's not something you see a lot in the Scottish team, just a punt up the park, and it was a good punt. And you have to be in the position to control it. I mean, we see all the sort of foreign players controlling it like that as a knack of doing it, and it certainly build it up. And obviously we talk about the goal. very fortunate with the goal. You know, I think it hit off two of their defenders, but at least it was going in the right direction. I think the goalkeeper would have saved it, but at the end of the day, to touch on the fans as well, it says 30,000. I thought it was more than 30,000 Scottish supporters in that stadium, and when you're a player on the park with that kind of backing behind you, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, as far as the performances, Ruffy, you know, okay, it wasn't great. You know, I thought they were very sloppy on the ball, but the back line, the two boys, Hendry and Hanley, you know, listen, McKenna had picked up an injury, so you've got Hendry there who looks assured. Hanley just hasn't. He's just developed into someone later in his career, Ruffy, that absolutely puts himself out there. I mean, I know, you know, early on, maybe 10 years ago when he was in that Scotland squad, we were looking and thinking, God, we're weak at the back. But fair play to him. You've got to give them credit.
Yeah.
Not great, but
No.
they kept them out.
No, fair play to him. I think the big boy up front for them, the centre forward, suited him.
Gerrard.
I think he suited him. He was a big bustling guy, and when Hanley's just that kind of centre half that would no lap up a centre forward like that, he wouldn't want a wee guy running about his feet.
Yeah.
So it suited him, you know, and he did well because there was corners and free kicks they had to defend, and he was one of the better ones, as Tam said. I think wee boy Doak, when he got the ball, was good. I thought Hickey was a wee bit iffy, you know.
Doak's step overs and the speed to get to the byline.
Yeah, he does something, you know. I mean, Tam will know better than me. If you've got a winger who's prepared to go by somebody, you know the ball's coming in the box. Once he's by that defender, you better be on your toes because it's coming into your area. And the unfortunate thing, we've all been screaming for two centre forwards, but none of them got a sniff, did they? They never got any kind of delivery, you know, which was disappointing. I think. I know everybody was that. Billy Gilmour was a miss for me. I thought it was crying out for somebody to put their foot in the ball, dictate things, start bringing people into the game. I think the midfield, I think Ferguson and McTominay were just too similar. You know, I think we needed somebody with a wee bit of nous in there and making things happen. But it remains to be seen if we play with two strikers up front in the next game.
I'll tell you right now, we won't.
You need an arm midfield player.
I think you'll see. I don't think you'll see 4-4-2 again in this tournament. I think that.
You'll see Christie and then McGinn in the middle.
Yeah, we had to play two up front against Haiti. I think every single Scotland fan was screaming for two up front, but we lost control in the middle of the park. And that was you know, if you're going to go with two up front, you're going to lose something. You're going to lose it in the middle of the pitch. And I thought they were decent technically, and they kept the ball better than us. But we definitely missed that extra man, as Ruffy said. Billy Gilmour in there to go and control the game, go and get it off the back too. But yeah, I don't think we'll see that again. I think we'll revert back to 4-5-1 the next two games.
There's no point in talking about who's not there. I hate to be scathing about Billy Gilmour may well be with the squad. He's not going to be on the park, so there's no point in looking at that. What you've got to look at is say to yourself, okay, there were times when I thought Ferguson really put himself about. That's what you need, and he's going to be vital with John McGinn in that middle three, because you would imagine that Christie might play off Adams.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely going to have to go with Doak because we need an out.
Yeah, I think we'll revert back to maybe 4-5-1. I think we'll play one off a striker. You're right, Christie. I was surprised he didn't. You know, he didn't start the game. Obviously, he came on, but yeah, I do think that they will play just him off a striker, and they'll maybe go for it at the back again. But
any changes elsewhere? I don't think.
I don't think he'll touch the back four and the goalkeeper. I think McTominay and McGinn pick themselves. I just think. I think Shankland will drop out, and I think Christie will come in. That'll be the only change.
Yeah. Would you not drop out Adams and put Shankland?
I don't know. I think you need maybe somebody more mobile to run the channels.
Yeah.
So I think you'll play Shea Adams rather than Shankland himself. I don't think Shankland can play himself.
You, Ruffy?
No, I don't think Shankland can play himself either. I was actually at a function, and there was a lot of Hearts supporters in the room, and I actually threw that question out to them: can Lawrence Shankland play up front himself? And it was 100% no.
Yeah.
And they're watching him week in, week out.
Were you surprised it was 100% no, because you told us nobody was listening to you? So
No, this was previous. No, this was a different.
Another gig.
Another gig.
gigs,
It was another gig. It was another gig.
Some agent.
They were adamant. He couldn't. Tam's touched on it. Shea Adams is more mobile. There's no.
We're going to need an
I
outball
think
player.
Shankland's probably a better goal scorer.
Yeah.
But
when
you're going to get into a game where I think you are going to have a wee bit of backs to the wall, you need an outlet up front.
should they have had a penalty, Haiti?
Nah.
No?
Nah, I don't think so.
Sam, no. One thing I did actually get slightly hacked off with, I don't know if you guys were on it, the Algerian referee, good name, Mustafa Gorbel, certainly didn't do the Gorbels boys any favours, I have to be honest with you, because he kind of has stopped the flow of the game. I mean, there was a wee tackle from Christie. It was a good tackle from Christie, and he's blowing the whistle, and I thought, this guy's not going to allow any physical contact.
There was so many fouls in the game, Peter.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, particularly the second half. Then there was no flow of the game. I thought he could have booked a dozen players. He only booked, I don't know, 4 or 5 players. But
yeah.
I think that when we were breaking, Haiti were just stopping us, were just pulling us back, little fouls, tactical fouls, and we were kind of doing the same to them. So, yeah, it was. Listen, let's be honest, it's probably the poorest game you'll see in the tournament. The poorest game you'll see in the tournament, but we won the game.
Did that suit us, though?
Yeah, I think it did, because they were a big physical outfit.
They had nothing up front.
Nah, I thought they were technical. I thought number 11 was good for him. He gave Hickey a hard time.
Yeah.
Cutting in on his left side, but they'll not get a point for me.
No.
They'll not get a point for me, and we had to beat them.
Well, we don't want to talk about disappointing things, but goal difference. You needed to take 2 or 3. Goal difference is going to determine if we get in.
Absolutely.
Unless we get a point. If we get a point, we're in.
Yeah.
But if we don't get a point,
there's so many permutations to it. You can't second guess everywhere. You know, you've got a situation where some teams have been spanked 7-1.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know.
As long as you don't get pumped like Brazil or Morocco.
A 1-0 here or there.
Yeah, you might get through.
Brian says, once again, Steve Clarke picks the wrong team. Hanley is not the best of players. I dread what Morocco are going to do to us. Clarke will play extra ultra defensive against them. Well, I don't think he's got any options. They're
I'd hate to hear the comments if we didn't win.
They're 7th in the world, and Brazil are 6th in the FIFA rankings.
Yeah.
So again, you know, this is the difference, the change in it now. The African side, the Asian sides, Japan, you know, with their 100-year plan I was listening to last night. And somebody says Shankland's out of his depth. Clarke will be back to 5 at the back for Morocco and pack the midfield. And I always thought we were all underestimating Haiti, says Alan. We won. I'm old enough to remember Costa Rica. I was in the stadium, Alan, to be honest with you. We tend to do better when we're not favourites. I agree with that. I mean, there's so many of them. Could see we were nervous. Hopefully we'll play better in the next 2 games, says James. I think a lot of people are looking at it and thinking to themselves, must do better. John McGinn reckons we've got a few gears to go up. God, I hope that was us just in first.
I think so as well, but I do think, I agree with some of the comments there, I think the next 2 games suit us better. I think when we've got it, the onus is on us to go and break a team down, and when the pressure's on, it was a massive game for us. We had to win that game last night. We must win. A lot of people were saying, if we don't beat Haiti, we may as well go home.
It just shows you the win. Nobody's worrying about the performance.
No.
The fans aren't worrying about it. The manager's not worrying about it. The players aren't.
Play better than that.
We've been actually focused enough to focus on the 3 points and not the actual performance. But I think we all know, and they know, as Tam said, performance has got to be much better.
I don't know if it was you mentioned before we come on here, but I genuinely got this feeling. See, when I was sitting watching it, I actually didn't feel as if they were a great threat because Scotland looked as if they had their bank set up nicely. It was compact. It was, you know, that back 4, that middle 4, and then even the 2 were dropping in to make it really, really tight. I never felt as if, apart from that Piero header.
That's what we're good at. If we're good at anything, it's scoring first and then saying to the other team, right, how good are you? Can you break us down? And he's got players in there who are used to playing that style and having to hold on to that 1-0 win.
Before we talk about Morocco, I must mention the Tartan Army, because if you are someone who literally trolls through all the social media, the feedback on the videos, Ruffy, makes you proud to be Scottish, because the conduct of the Tartan Army has been exemplary. The Bostonians are so warming to us as a nation, which is perfectly understandable. We're all really likeable. But the conduct and the singing and the partying and the interacting with the people from the United States has been superb.
Yeah, you have to give them a pat on the back. The worst thing we don't want to see when our teams go abroad is no alcohol fused and trouble starting. That hasn't happened. They've behaved themselves impeccably, and you're right, you know, the atmosphere that they've generated has spilled onto the stadium and spilled onto the city. So, yeah, everything's good there. Everything's really good.
I saw a couple of posts from American people. One lady in particular, Tam, she said, you know, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but she said, you know, the perception of America at the moment maybe is not the reality, she said, and we are loving having the Scots here because they are embracing us. They are not judgmental on anything that's going on elsewhere. They realise that we are a nation with so many great things about us, so many positive things. And I thought it was a lovely post by the lady on TikTok just saying, we love the Scottish people, we love the way they're interacting with us, and we love the fact that they are seeing the best of what Boston has to offer.
Yeah, and I think the Tartan Army are the best supporters in the world. I think when we went to Germany, we seen it there, Peter, for 10, 12 days. Every city we went to, whether it was Stuttgart, Cologne, Munich, they behaved themselves impeccably. The locals embraced us. You know, there was dancing, there was fun, there was no hint of any sort of a trouble. And it's just continued over in America. And Boston's a blue-collar, working class city, and they've taken to us as well. So yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok and Twitter, and at the baseball last night, it was full of Scotland supporters as well. So
I mean, a march down to Fenway Park is just outrageous.
Yeah, so listen, they won't want us to go. Certainly the pubs there won't want us to go because we'll drink them dry. So yes. I think the economy over in Boston, they're all going to turn the locals. So yeah, I think they'll be sad to see us go down to Miami next week.
I'll tell you what I thought was absolutely hilarious. They had a blonde waitress who was in her car, and she'd just finished her shift. She says, "Thank you for the Tartan Army. I made this in tips." And then she started counting her money out, and she'd made about $1,000 off it. And I thought to myself, boy, these waiters and waitresses are going to love the Scots, aren't they?
Well, I'm sure the film, everything that's happening over there throughout the world, we'll see how happy. I mean, the amount of money they've spent as well to get there. I didn't think there'd be that many there, but they've made an effort and they've got there, and they just make the tournament. And that's why they think they hope Scotland can go further and further. You know, because they just want them about every place in America.
There is a downside to it, though, Ruffy, which is quite simply a lot of families will have kids rushing down at Christmas, you know, opening their boxes, and there's nothing in it. Because they're paying back the Scotland. They're paying back the Scotland.
Yeah. No birthday this year, I'm sorry.
It'll be absolutely.
That was a good thing. I thought it was a good thing. The players having all their kids in the stadium. That's a new one as well. You know, and I know they do it at cup finals, but I've never seen it at the World Cup. You know, so somebody's really worked on that aspect of the game. If your family's there, you're happy, they're happy, and obviously you get a win, you can join in it together.
I think you've got to be happy for Steve Clarke because, quite simply, the pressure was unbelievable on that team, the players, to say, oh, well, we're automatically going to get the 3 points from Haiti. He was under a lot of pressure. I mean, even Steve Clarke himself acknowledged, you know, vital to get the 3 points, and he highlighted the fact that the team has a tremendous spirit in it. They are dogged when they're defending. Yeah,
I think that showed in the performance. I think that the burden of expectation from our supporters, you know, that's been building up. In the last couple of months, it's really ramped up. Once you get to America, you see all the Scotland fans. The players would have seen all the social media posts, thousands of people travelling over the expense that they've came over, and you'd feel that as a player. You would feel that pressure. We can't let them down. You walk out into the Boston Stadium and you look round and there's near enough the whole stadium Scotland supporters, so that adds pressure as well. We're expected to win, that added pressure. So listen, I don't think anyone was expecting us to go and win 4 or 5-0. 1-0, everyone would have taken it. We've won the game, we can park that, and we can go and try and get another point at the next 2.
Okay, on that point, Ruffy, just before we move on to Morocco, apparently the world record in that Boston Stadium for noise was beaten by the Flower of Scotland. Apparently it was up to 125 decibels. Let me tell you this, Ruffy, if we take a point or defeat Morocco, I think they all might take the kids and make sure they've got earmuffs in it, because that will just blow the roof off.
Be brilliant, you know, and if you're a player on the park and you're hearing that, you know, you've actually got goosebumps in your back as well. So, you know, it's all positive. That's what we want. We keep on saying, be positive getting into every game. The whole country's behind the team, and the players will rub off on the players. But as we're coming to, they've got a massive 2 games coming up.
Okay, Morocco. Last time got to the semi-final. They managed to beat Belgium, Spain and Portugal on the way to the semi-final. Now they look the better side against Brazil, Ruffy.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Watched that game. They looked bit of quality all over the park. They look as if they're playing with confidence. They weren't giving Brazil any respect whatsoever. They were getting in about them, and obviously, what a goal. A fantastic goal they scored. And they are quality. I don't think we can get away from that. We can't sit here and say we're going to be up against it. This would be a massive notch in the players and the manager's cap if we can take something out of that game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agreeing with you on this, Tam. AJ says must play some kind of 3 in midfield. I would go 3-5-2. I wouldn't even go 2 up there. 4-5-1 says AJ, maybe with Shea Adams passing the addition for the lone striker. Franny says Morocco will be tough, you think? And I'm looking at it, and it's going to be hotter than it was for that game because it's a little bit earlier when they're playing them.
Yep, and I think that makes a huge difference. You know, Ruffy's played in America as well. I think the later you play, the cooler it is. You know, 9 o'clock local time the other night suited us. They've been reasonably decent conditions, but it's a couple of hours earlier. It's going to be warmer. And we've got. I think Morocco, obviously, it's a warmer country than Scotland. They've been more used to it than us. But yeah, I think if it goes to the last 10 minutes in this game and it's maybe 1 each or 0-0, Morocco have got Haiti in the last game. I think both teams might go right. Okay, we'll take a point here, and Morocco might go right. Okay, we'll take a point and we'll beat Haiti and we'll go through as well. So that's what I'm maybe hoping happens, and maybe if it's a draw in the last 10-15.
And have you spoken to someone in the Morocco camp?
No,
to get that
no.
insight? I'd take that off, eh?
Do you know, they've got the easiest game to finish. They should win. So you're hoping that maybe happens.
The flip side of that means they've got to beat us. They have to beat us.
Yeah.
No, Morocco don't.
Morocco don't.
I'm saying if it's a draw.
If Morocco beat us, they've got 4 points. That's them qualified.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They'll be bothering about the last game.
No, that's what I was thinking, Ruffy. I'm with you in that camp. But, you know, I think Tam's just hoping that there's a Moroccan Scotland there. Just out of curiosity, Ruff, I don't know if you spotted it, and I wonder if we check out his heritage and his grandparents. Did you see the Boston cop playing keepy uppy with the ball?
Yeah.
I thought that was good going. They must have come in as immigrants into America from Scotland or Brazil or somewhere. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fantastic, and the supporters obviously lapped it up. They thought it was great. I remember that kind of thing just to get away from the World Cup. I was down in Sucky Hall Street when there was a Celtic game, and all the Celtic supporters were walking to Parkhead. And there was a guy in the middle of Sucky Hall Street with a ball, and he's bouncing off his shoulder. And, I mean, he's a professional. Yeah. He's keeping it up, and honestly, it must have been 200 touches. And this old guy walked by him and nudged him and went, "It's goals that count, son."
That sums up everything. I thought the good thing about the cop, though, is once he'd finished the keepy uppies, they were all over him, patting him on the head and everything. Okay. Other ones quickly that I want to get your thoughts on, guys. Germany 7, Curaçao 1. I have to say, I mean, when Dick Advocat was the Rangers manager, I liked him because he was a brilliant man. He was a good coach, but he was also funny. I mean, he had great patter when you were trackside with him. I thoroughly enjoyed him, but to see him crying, I thought it was really emotional for him, Ruffy.
Yeah, he's been everywhere, you know, European football, club football, country, you know, World Cups, you know, and he's obviously, he maybe see that as a retirement time, and these kind of things affect everybody. You know, you could see as the goals were getting in, he was getting a wee bit, agitated, and a wee bit.
Yeah.
But my reaction to that game was this team were beating us 1-0 with 44 minutes. Well, that team's called.
Curaçao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were 1-0 up at Hampden against us.
What was the final score?
And 10 men.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just saying.
Well,
you look at Germany.
Just not. He played the next two games. He's just
No.
You're so negative.
I'm just trying to say how good Germany were.
Yeah, listen, it was great for the guy who scored though, because he'll be remembered forever and a day.
Yeah.
It was a great goal. Great goal.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Australia, they certainly stepped up to the.
That was probably the biggest surprise for me so far. Australia beating Turkey. Turkey were fancied, quietly fancied. You know, and that's a big result. And this United States, I've seen the highlights of their game. They were magnificent.
They were great.
Magnificent.
I thought they were super.
They blew Paraguay away, and Paraguay are usually pretty solid.
Speed in every department. They were super.
Yeah. They were
See the boy Tillman? That's not the Tillman that was over here, is it? That plays with America.
Aye, it was the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing though, they'll eventually at some point win the World Cup.
I've said it for years, Peter. They've got the athleticism, they've got the power, the pace, they've got all that. It's just the other parts that they need. And you're right, if they get that together, if they get that, marry that to that, they'll be a force. Maybe go deep this year.
See, when the American game's on the telly, how many superstars do you think we could see in the stadium throughout the game?
Oh, they love that, don't they?
Tom Cruise and all that, right at the game, isn't it?
I mean, it was unbelievable. The only place that had more stars in the ground than the matches that they've been showing in the World Cup was for the New York Knicks winning the NBA, which was packed full of them. Anyway, apart from that, well done to Graham Potter, Sweden 5, Tunisia 1. He's having a renaissance there as a manager. So we've got Belgium against Egypt to look forward to, Spain against Cape Verde, Ruffy. Just a couple of things before we chuck it for today, because there's lots of things that are coming up. Incidentally, by the way, Hugh McDonald and myself have been on the road looking at statues, commemorative plaques, everything about great Scottish managers and players. And part 1 of that series will be out this week. I hope you enjoy it. It's certainly worth watching. Also, I've been speaking to Jed Fitzsimmons, who's made a documentary about George Connolly. That's another programme that's coming out. I caught up with Colin Hendry at the weekend, where once again Dukla managed to beat Rangers legends, Ruffy. We just were unstoppable against them.
Is he playing for the Rangers legends?
Yeah, with Marvin Andrews, Andy Little, Ross McCormack, David Templeton, Jose Katongo.
Was it Katongo?
Yeah,
Wow.
unbelievable the amount
Score?
of pros. I think in the end we beat them 9-7. Yeah, defence is on top.
Scored the first goal
For
in the game.
Oh, you playing as well?
Did I play? Did I play? I was pretty good the first half, I must admit.
I have to tell you, Tam, he hit one, was it for the halfway line?
Yeah.
He hit one for the halfway line to try, and Ruffy, I'm not kidding, the keeper had to touch it round the
It
post.
was unbelievable. Backpedaling, tipped it to the bar.
And by the way, Tam, if that goes in, you're unbearable today, aren't you?
Aye.
Yeah.
I tell you, you never get substituted, did you?
My calf's sore, but I've done the business the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I was off.
No, I didn't get paid to play. I played for charity, Ruffy, something that you don't do.
Anyway, listen, what about this? What about Danny Röhl? RB Salzburg, looks as if it'll be confirmed.
Do you know what, Peter?
Is he a failure?
Well, he's not won anything at Rangers, so you're probably going to say aye. But I was right about him not leaving. I was right about him leaving, but I was wrong about who's coming in. I thought Gerrard would come in. But he's been wanting his ticket for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think. All these clubs interested in him. His agent's been wanting his ticket. Derek McInnes coming in. I think they should have got Derek McInnes 2 or 3 years ago. I think it'd be a great appointment for Rangers. I really do.
See, before we talk about Derek McInnes, okay, he's working his ticket. I agree with Tam. He has been working his ticket. Did his bottle crash because he realised he wouldn't be able to do anything?
He's the only one that can answer that. I think he's went for a safety move. I think in Germany, I think he'd be a wee bit more safer.
Austria.
Austria.
Oh, sorry, right. I think away from the Rangers Celtic environment, I think every manager, a new manager that comes in, all of a sudden that's the thing that hits them. It's a win is everything, you know, and sometimes a lot of them can't handle that kind of thing, and I think he's looked at it and went, well, do I want to get through this pressure again?
I think the Rangers fans are happy to see the back of
I do. The Rangers supporters that I know, and they weren't convinced by him. I think they had a real opportunity this season. They blew it to win the league, and they didn't take it. They spent a fortune. Spent a fortune at the start of the season. He spent money in the January window, and he still finished third. So I don't think there'll be many tears over his departure for Rangers.
I'm getting some people who are genuinely happy that it's Derek McInnes. I think it's great for him. I've got a lot of time for Derek. I think he's a good manager. And I think this is a real chance for him to get in there and show them basically what they missed last time around. And he's got a chance to build a side which I think will be more towards Scottish players.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Lewis Ferguson's one of the first ones worked with him at Aberdeen. I think that he's definitely one that Rangers were interested in. Obviously, Cameron Devlin's not British, but he's a British type player.
Yeah. I fancy him to join them.
Shankland's there. I think you will see a more British kind of spine in the team, and that's what Rangers will go for. So, but they've certainly got a lot of players to offload. I think there's a lot of players at Rangers that Derek wouldn't fancy, and would try and get ready straight away.
I think so, Robbie. What do you make of that when it is eventually confirmed, Derek McInnes?
Yeah, I think Derek's worked his where he is now. I think the experience that he's got, obviously Aberdeen, the experience of taking Hearts to where they were would be a massive plus as well. So yeah, I think everybody, it's a favourable. It's not like somebody's coming in. Who is he? You know, and I keep talking about that walking into the dressing room on the first day, what the players react to. whoever's coming through the door, and if he comes through the door, I think he'll get a lot of people admiring what he's done in the game.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice for Rangers. I think it's the right choice. It's a chance to get someone who understands the club, and also he definitely understands Scottish football. And what an opportunity for the Rangers fans to get right behind him. Flip that around, suddenly. I wouldn't like to be there when the two of them head back to Tynecastle, Shankland, McInnes, possibly Devlin.
No, but
They'll be getting pelters.
That's a heart rip to the team. You know, that's their manager going. They're probably the best midfield player and their top striker.
I was reading the Edinburgh papers today. They're obviously now looking at Jamestown Analytics to look for a forward-thinking coach who can replace him.
Me personally, if I'm looking at somebody in this country, I would look at John McGinn. I think he's done a magnificent job at Falkirk. He's worked at the club before. He knows the expectations at the club. But I think that the net will be spread far and wide with Tony Bloom and Jamestown Analytics, and they'll be looking at coaches in every league.
Yeah, I think it'll be a coach that's associated to them. You know, they own a couple of clubs.
Clubs and different things.
Could be a coach from that kind of area.
You don't think it's going to be somebody homebred?
No, I think it'll be something that's in their contact already.
Yeah, I know there was a line that said they're not considering John McGinn or Stephen Presley. I don't even think they invited them back to the commemoration.
Big Elvis, he wouldn't be a popular one.
They're not welcoming towards them. Nevertheless, what did you make of Kieran Bowie to Celtic? Because obviously Verona have been relegated.
Yeah,
is that a shout?
Yeah, and I didn't understand why Celtic didn't try and buy him for Hibs. Maybe they did. Maybe they offered 300 grand for him or something. But he obviously went to Italy, and yeah, I think he would tick a lot of boxes at Celtic. I think he's a good striker, and I think he done well over there. You know, for a team that was really struggling and get relegated. You know, he scored a cracking goal against Juventus, one against Inter Milan. So he personally done well rather than the team doing well.
Yeah, okay. What about the answer to the quiz? How many goals has John McGinn scored for Scotland?
I was stab at 14.
19.
Yeah, 21 was the answer. 21 goals, getting ever closer to that 30.
Close to that 30.
I know Kenny is getting slightly worried about Andy Robertson because he's getting ever closer to the 102 caps as well.
Was he in 90 odd?
Yeah, but he's closing in on it. So I think Andy Robertson will have a serious tilt at trying to beat Kenny's record as the most capped player, 102 caps. Anyway, 21, did you get that? Give us your thoughts on potentially Derek McInnes being unveiled. It's going to be an interesting one when he comes out that door, Ruffy.
It certainly is. We know the banter between supporters, and for everything he did this year with Hearts, it'd be interesting to see which way the Hearts supporters go.
Oh, I don't know one way they're going to go.
What?
They're going to get slaughtered when he comes back.
Absolutely.
That's Shankland.
Listen, last little point. Terry has made a point which I think we're going to finish on. What about the cones? Class, typical Scots. Monuments in Boston, bump, up goes the car, the cone. I think
that is your calling card. That is your calling card. They've seen it in Germany as well with all the statues. I think that's a good thing. You know, people will go, there's vandalism and all that. No, that's a sign of respect for Scotland fans. Putting a cone on your monuments.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big sign of respect for Scotland fans, not the opposite.
It's a real class act. Long may the banter and the great behaviour continue for the Tartan Army. We are proud to be Scottish, and I might as well get it right now. We'll get it on Friday as well, but early indications before we finish, Ruffy. Scotland, Morocco, prediction?
I'd settle for one each right now.
I know what you'd settle for, Ruffy. What's the prediction?
Just say what you believe.
2-1 Morocco.
2-1 Morocco, wow. I'm going to go 1-1.
One each.
You wouldn't let me go one.
No, you didn't. No. You said to me we'll get pumped.
No, I never. I said one each.
We're optimistic Scots. You've just said
You
it.
said before the game we'd get pumped.
Yeah, 1-1.
One each.
Yeah. By the way,
Strip that Hall of Fame off him.
Traitor. You can get involved as well, because on our website we'll put the link in the feed here as well for you. All you have to do is click on it and give us your predictions. It's our World Cup predictor. It's absolutely free to enter. Just put in what you think the score's going to be for all the games, and at the end of it we're going to pick one lucky person who's going to win themselves a commissioned painting from Gio Thompson. Your favourite player will obviously in there. I think, in fact, this one is Scott McTominay, the overhead kick, and then there's a print, and then there's a Scotland top as well. Interestingly enough, the other one, which is the top 50 players, which is also on our website, if you put in your favourite player who you think should be in the 50 best players since 1975 in the Scottish Premier League, courtesy of First Class Credit Union, then you've got a chance to commission Gio Thompson to paint your favourite player on canvas. You can get it up on your wall. That's exactly what I meant to say. So First Class Credit Union are offering you the chance to win your favourite player painted on canvas by Gio Thompson. All you have to do is put in a player you think should be in the 50. But get into the World Cup predictor. It's absolutely free, Ruffy. I've been putting mine in.
Yeah.
So have you.
Yeah, I put mine in, yeah. I'm trying to think. I did reasonably well.
Yeah, I'm going to put a few more in tonight as well. Get on there, click on the link. It's on the website. And with a bit of luck, you could win yourself a prize as well. Great to chat to you today. Thanks for so many of you and your messages. We will keep you right up to date across all our social media channels on what's happening in the World Cup. From Ruffy, Tam McManus and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.